Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of Fantasy Booking by Geek Dhaba. I've started this segment inspired by Adam Hailing from Parts of Unknown. I always love his fantasy bookings, and I believe that one day I too would be good enough for him to notice me and actually do fantasy booking warfare with me. A guy can dream, okay? So Adam, if you're watching, please watch, and any response from you would be much appreciated. And if you want to battle me, bring it on. So by all rights to you, my first topic would be booking an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view. So Adam Hailing, let me have a go. So I picked present day WWE and AEW to start my storyline, as I think this would be more of a challenge as compared to making my own timeline. I would start my story on WrestleMania weekend, and it would go as I'm pretty much hoping it would go, with Seth Rollins asking for a challenge and being challenged by returning Cody Rhodes. Cody beats Seth clean in a cracker of a match, considering the talent that is in the ring. It's not much of a surprise. But after winning, Cody doesn't celebrate. And amidst the cheers, he just looks at the Tron graphic, looks at the crowd, and he leaves. This would create a lot of noise in the wrestling world. Obviously, that there's a movement from AEW to WWE, and there will be a lot of interviews. The most important one will be of Tony Khan. Tony Khan would say that Cody may have gone back, but he will always be AEW. With Cody now joining the Raw roster, Raw after WrestleMania happens, and in the mid-card, after a lot of hyping of his promo, of his return big promo, Cody comes out to the ring, holds the mic in his hand, and looks at the crowd. The crowd starts chanting, "Cody, Cody, Cody." And obviously there will be AEW chants as well. Cody for 2 minutes just absorbs it all in, keeps absorbing it, and then drops the mic and leaves. Next week comes, and Cody is stopped by an interviewer backstage, and he asks, why didn't Cody address the crowd last week? Cody looks at the interviewer, looks into the camera, takes a sigh, and then pushes the interviewer, and then goes towards the ring. Cody again holds the mic and looks at the crowd. The crowd again starts chanting Cody, 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 and AEW chants as well. After a minute of him absorbing the chants again, he takes the mic, looks into the camera, and says, "I am back. Cody Rhodes is back. It took me a while to grasp it all in. I got overwhelmed last week, but not anymore. Cody Rhodes is back home." He again waits as the AEW chants pop. Start again. And he smiles and says, "AEW." And he stops. The crowd pops because this is the first time any superstar has taken the name of AEW on WWE programming. So everybody pops, and then he looks at the camera and he says, "AEW can kiss my ass." Half the crowd pops, half the crowd boos. Cody just smiles and leaves. Obviously, this sends the media into a frenzy. There will be stories upon stories of how WWE just acknowledged AEW on their programming. This is the first time that they have done that. And they try to take comments from WWE executives, but all they get are no comments. But one person who doesn't want to give a no comment is Tony Khan, who opens Dynamite amid chants of Cody sucks and AEW, and he says, "No, That's not how we do things in AEW. Cody was one of us, and his blood and sweat is in the foundations of this company, and I can never forget that. Whatever he said disturbed me on a personal level, and judging by your reactions, it also disturbed the AEW faithful as well. But we need to realize that this is what that company does. I am sure Cody didn't want to do such a thing, and he was forced. Hence I say, Cody, come back. Disregard the contract. I will give you a blank paper. Sign anything on it, write anything on it, fill it, but don't let your soul die. Dynamite progresses as always. Next week, Cody takes the stage next week on Raw and takes the mic and says, "You think they forced me? They didn't even know I was going to say such a thing. No superstar has ever taken the name on television, but I did. Because AEW was a mistake. It was a mistake I made. A mistake I realized after I looked at the Tron at WrestleMania and looking at the words Cody Rhodes." Cody goes on how this theme is the only thing that matters to him. And now that WWE has given him all the rights back to it, to the name and all his father's accomplishments and rights, he feels again at the top of the world. He is a Rhodes again, and he then addresses Tony Khan. He says, "Tony, come back? No. Tony, I will never step foot in that garbage truck ever again." Next week on Dynamite, we see that all the wrestlers are angry at Cody. And throughout the show, all the wrestlers keep finding Tony Khan, and they ask him about what he's going to do about it. And Tony just tells them to gather at the end of the show, and I will announce them. At the end of the show, everybody's gathered around the ramp and the ring, and Tony Khan is in the center of the ring. And he, after a lot of chants of Cody sucks and AEW, he speaks. We at AEW are saddened and appalled at the lengths Cody and WWE have gone to publicly demean this company. This company was made for the fans. This company listens to its fans. This is not some zombie-sponsored company throwing pizzas during matches. Cody said he doesn't want to have a comeback. Then Cody, remember, we listen to our fans and the fans want your blood. Hence, be ready, as we will come to Raw next week, and then there is no PG that's going to be able to save your ass. The crowd pops, wrestlers rejoice, episode ends. Next week, Raw opens with every Raw superstar in the ring or surrounding the ring. In the ring, there's Triple H, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns, with obviously both of his titles that he's won from Brock Lesnar. Triple H has the mic and opens, and he says, "First of all, I would like to say that this was not planned. Cody said these things out of his own accord. When Cody signed back with WWE, Cody didn't just sign as a wrestling talent. He signed as an executive director of WWE. So he calls the shot just as much as I do. Sure, we had a discussion about what should be said and what shouldn't be said, but that's all out the window with that other company thinking of attacking our show." Well then, Cody goes out of the ring, goes underneath the ring, and takes out 2 sledgehammers. He brings it in, he gives one to Hunter, he keeps one himself, and Triple H then looks in the mic, looks in the camera, and says, "Bring it on." The crowd pops and they wait. 2 minutes later, 2 buses stop outside the stadium. The camera looks at them. AEW roster comes out of the buses and start walking towards the entrance of the stadium. Triple H orders everyone to stop them, and the entire roster runs towards the back to meet with the AEW roster, leaving Triple H, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns in the ring. Here we can see an epic brawl of 2 rosters. We can see finishing moves, we can see table spots, we can see ladder spots, we can see almost all back spots, we can even see car spots. It's absolutely crazy scenes. Camera turns back to the three men in the ring, looking at the mayhem when suddenly the crowd pops. Hangman Page jumps into the ring and buckshot lariats Cody Rhodes. Triple H looks at that, turns Hangman Page, kicks him in the guts and gives him a pedigree. Triple H is attacked from behind by Kenny Omega and he gives him a one-winged angel. Kenny Omega turns into a spear by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns quickly turns towards his back to see if anybody's going to attack him. And there is one person standing there, and that's Jon Moxley. The crowd goes into a frenzy. The two men lock eyes and just look directly into each other's eyes. As they're doing so, Cody recovers and he attacks Moxley. Roman is hesitant to join, but Cody is going at it. He's punching, he's kicking Moxley, and then he stops and he goes for the sledgehammer that had fallen down. Roman stops him and they argue, and suddenly Hangman Page recovers and takes them both out with double buckshot lariats. Kenny Omega then joins Hangman and gives Roman a finisher for him, and then they set their eyes on Triple H. Kenny Omega goes out of the ring, gets a chair and wraps that chair around Triple H's neck, and then he's about to jump on it when Cody runs into the ring with a sledgehammer in his hand. Cody looks into the eyes and he sees that Omega is ready to crush Triple H's neck. So Cody raises his hand in defeat and he says, okay, fine, stop. And he slowly starts walking towards his old colleagues. And suddenly, Cody swings the hammer. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page dodge out of the way, and Cody smacks the chair that's wrapped around Triple H's neck. Once, then he does it again, then 3 times. The chair releases the grasp on Triple H's neck. Triple H is clutching for air. He's foaming at his mouth with blood. Cody smiles and hugs the other two, and then turns towards Roman when all of a sudden Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens and AJ Styles hit the ring, and those three take Moxley and run into the crowd and exit. The brawl outside had stopped as AEW had achieved his purpose and the wrestlers had run. Rollins calls for the medics to take a look at Hunter. Hunter is taken in an ambulance, and it's all a very serious tone as everyone looks around as Hunter is loaded into the ambulance. And it is announced that Raw will not continue further this week. And for television viewers, they will repeat old matches, and for the live viewers, dark matches will be played and will be telecasted to them in memory of Triple H. As WWE social medias keep updating upon the health condition of Triple H, which is not good. Dynamite next week opens with Cody, Hangman, Tony, Kenny and Moxley in the ring. Cody looks at Tony and they hug. And then Cody says, I am Cody Rhodes. Yes, that is right. I didn't sign with AEW just because I knew WWE was willing to take me back and give me the name and everything back. So I asked Tony to hold off until then. I get the rights back, but they were so desperate that they made me executive director as well. And hence, I had to wait longer. Now, I own the rights to everything my father created. And hence, Cody Rhodes is back to AEW. The crowd pops and they all smile. When all of a sudden, a car stops outside and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins walk out of it. Tony announces on the mic for the security to go to the back and let them come in and not stop them. Roman's music hits and they walk towards the ramp as people in the ring get chairs just in case. Tony stops them from going to the ramp and says, "This is not how we treat guests. Let's see what they have to say." Roman takes the mic and taps on it and says, "Is this working? Apologies, I'm not used to working with such low production quality material." Obviously this warrants a boo from the crowd, but this is head of the table Roman Reigns, so this is in line with his character. Roman continues, "You dare attack my show, my people. You hit me from behind because you know that if you come against me face to face, I will smash all of you. I am the tribal chief, and now I will make sure AEW acknowledges me." The people in the ring smile and the crowd boos. Tony asks them to get to the point and say why they're here. Seth takes the mic and says, "Triple H is fighting for his life after what your boy did to him. And we are here to lay down the challenge on his behalf. One night, 5 matches, AEW versus WWE. If you win, Tony Khan becomes the COO of WWE, replacing Triple H. But if we win, Cody will belong to WWE forever." The crowd pops and there's a discussion in the ring. But then Tony says, "What are the matches?" Roman speaks, 2 5v5 elimination tag team matches, men and women. 1 open challenge to Brock Lesnar. 1 tag team match of the best tag teams in both industry. And main event will be a match Cody here is familiar with. War Games. 3 of your best versus 3 of ours. Tony thinks about it for a while, discusses with each other, and then accepts the challenge. Then Cody takes the mic and says, "It's ironic that I will be defending my father's legacy in this event, while Seth, you will be defending your father's legacy, that is Triple H." The crowd oos. Seth laughs and takes the mic and says, "It's true. Hunter taught me a lot of the traits about this business. And today, I will repeat something he said to us once. He said to us, what I do better than anybody is adapt. Last week was plan A. That didn't work. Tonight, plan B. There's always a plan B." The others laugh as Cody said, "What is that?" When suddenly, Moxley strikes Kenny Omega with a chair, reminiscing the Shield breakup. And then, as Hangman and Cody recover from the shock and turn towards Moxley, Daniel Bryan suddenly comes running in with a running knee and takes them out. Tony Khan is left standing in the ring, alone, surrounded by Jon Moxley, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. Roman takes the mic and says, "See you at Starrcade." And they all leave as Tony shouts for security. In the weeks following, matches are finalized. The matches would be, I think, the match number 1 would be the 10-man tag team elimination match style, which would be for WWE, it will be Daniel Bryan captain, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton. AEW will be CM Punk captain, Malachi Black, Adam Cole, MJF, and Miro. And AEW will win this match, 1-0 to AEW. Match 2 will be Brock Lesnar Open Challenge, and it will be answered by none other than Keith Lee. And Keith Lee will beat Brock Lesnar, 2-0 to AEW. The third match would be, I hope it would be built through a tournament of sorts of finding out the best tag teams in each brand. And for WWE, the tournament will be won by New Day, and for AEW, the tournament will be won by the Young Bucks. And it will be the New Day versus the Young Bucks in a TLC match. And the New Day will win this match, bringing it 1 back for WWE, AEW 2, WWE 1. The next match would be a 7-on-7 tag team match. I know it was announced 5-on-5, but I couldn't decide on 5 names. So I think over the weeks there would be announced it would be a 14 women tag team elimination style match. For WWE, it would be Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bayley, Ronda Rousey, Belair, and Asuka. For AEW, it would be Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill, Hikaru Shida, Abaddon, Nyla Rose, and Serena Deeb. And this will be won by the WWE women, making it 2-2 in the final, which will be Shield, a returning Shield, versus Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes. And this will be won by the Shield. WWE wins 3-2. I think AEW does not require a win here. I think AEW would do enough with this level of exposure that WWE can bring to it. And I think it would be a better way for WWE to win, and with Cody coming back, and then Moxley and Daniel Bryan can again go back to AEW and face problems because they're already a tag team there. So they can face problems in AEW while their contract runs out. And in storyline kayfabe, you can change things around. But I think this is how I would book an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view. Thank you.